This movie is tits as fuck. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and today I want to talk about one of the best films of the year. One that doesn't even have a trailer, let alone a poster yet. Also one that I'm afraid probably won't even officially come out this year. I'm talking about the coming-of-age romantic anarcho-comedy Dinner in America. This lovely little film had its premiere in the beginning of the year at the Sundance Film Festival, and I was lucky enough to have seen it at the Slash Film Festival here in Vienna. There it was screened as the surprise movie, and before it pretty much enchanted the audience, the curator was actually giving us a little warning. The Slash always shows a very wild and exciting mix of movies, but they are primarily seen as a genre film festival, mostly showing horror movies. So we were told that this year's surprise movie is neither a horror nor really a genre movie, and yet it perfectly fits the counterculture vibe of the festival, and I'm sure that it will be beloved by many people out there once it gets officially released. I can only repeat what the curator said, but it really is like the feel-good movie of the year. Though, without having seen it, that might suggest a very different film. Dinner in America was written and directed by Adam Riemeyer, and you could describe it as a rough, hard-boiled, R-rated punk rock version of Dirty Dancing. It's the story of two outsiders, two misfits, and it doesn't really pull any punches. It's about a young man Simon, played by Kyle Gallner, lead singer in a punk band and on the run from the police because of his fondness for arson. And a young woman Patty, played by Emily Skeggs, still living with her family, who just got fired from a little job and who's constantly being mobbed by others because she's quite peculiar. The film is how these two meet and subsequently fall in love. But I can promise you that this is a very different love story. It is really sweet, but even more so because it takes a while until we get there and because it's embedded in this really crass, sometimes even gross out setting. We start off with both of them still on their own, and our protagonist Simon can be really hard to stomach. He's completely unfiltered and his language as well as his actions are extreme. It certainly helps that the film is set in the past. There isn't a specific date and I don't recall any concrete information, but I just assume it must probably be sometime in the early 90s or even late 80s. Would it take place in today's more sensitive, politically correct atmosphere, his character would probably be more problematic. Of course, the film is also quite heightened, and because of its anarcho vibe and the absolute terrific performance by Kyle Gallner, he still comes across as rather likable, or at least he becomes a wonderful, charismatic anti-hero. The first minutes of the film are actually so in your face with swearing and weird, over-the-top family constellations and situations that I first assumed this would be more like a satire of today's America, where everyone is fighting against each other and shows his worst self. It sets a very raw tone and it's mostly very funny, assuming that you can relate to this kind of dark humor, but not all jokes are landing and it almost runs danger of getting a little bit too muddled and unfocused. Thankfully, after that introduction, when Simon and Patty finally cross paths and get involved with each other, at that point the movie really kicks into the next gear and it slowly transforms into this really heartfelt tale about two misfits and how they can make each other happy. It's really funny and my attempt to describe it to you doesn't do it justice because Dinner in America has a very unique personality. It's rebellious, wild, crazy and weird, but also very sweet and with a big heart and a lot of soul. Like I already mentioned, Kyle Gallner is absolutely fantastic as this bad boy, especially in the scenes with Patty's family. But Emily Skeggs, and this might not seem that way at first, which is of course perfectly in tune with her character, is equally amazing as Patty. She is so peculiar and adorable. She's vulnerable but also fierce. Both characters have somewhat locked away a lot of their true self, and it's just an unbelievable joy to watch both of them work so wonderfully together. At first it seems like a really bad match and you think those two would never work together, but it's the opposite. They are perfect for each other, and when Patty tells Simon that she just had the best day of her life, my heart was melting. And again, my description might make this film sound like a schmaltzy, lighthearted affair, but it's really genuine, badass and just great. So in German I'd say, Dinner in America ist richtig geiles, anarchistisches, völlig kompromissloses Feelgood-Kino. Die zwei Hauptdarsteller sind absolut herausragend, ihre Charaktere frisch, böse und liebenswert zugleich und die Chemie einfach phänomenal. I give Dinner in America 8 out of 10. It's more like 8.3, but I don't do that.
Clock is ticking as I age, things I feel with silent rage.
Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Dinner in America. And also let me know what is your favorite feel-good movie of the year so far. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd, and also on Patreon, simply at The Jimmy Cage. And you can now also become a member of the channel and get exclusive rewards. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.